Welcome to another episode of Romance Writers Therapy. Today, I am Kate Pryor, that is Marty V,
Woo!
And we have Rebecca Conrad with us.
Hi, Rebecca.
Hey.
How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm good. To everyone listener, Rebecca is actually, we've talked about her before. She is the original recipient of Truth or Dare, and she is Texas, and she did a beautiful job.
She's our favorite Texan.
Yes. A beautiful job reading our Irish hero in Truth or Dare.
I did do
Future voice actress.
That's right.
Truth or Dare.
One of my favorite comments in that whole thread was when poor Rebecca is trying to read. There's some very dirty talk in there, and I wrote the accent in as best as I could. So like there was no way for her not to for her just to breeze past it without an accent. I really forced it on her. And Kate's like, this is some grade A dirty talk, but Rebecca's really tearing it up. It's one of my favorite memories.
That was a very fun night.
That was
you for that, Marty. Was that 2020 when that happened?
Yeah.
Oh, it might have been.
Yeah, because
it was. Oh my gosh.
No, that was 2021 because it was the Vulgar Valentines.
Okay, yes. So, regardless of the time that it was, that might have been the first time, like, in almost the entire pandemic that I laughed so hard I cried.
Aww. It was so fun. It was so fun. I remember one time.
You remember what?
And then you wrote yours for me, and I remember a line where they're about to get intimate in the kitchen, and he says something like, "The kitchen is for eating," and like I paused for a second to think about it, and then I was like, "Oh," it was like such a broken moment in my brain.
Oh no.
It was a fun night. We had a great time. So
okay, so Rebecca.
Yes, what's up?
You had a piece come out in an anthology recently, and you were kind of an expert on anthologies, as I understand it.
Oh my god, yes, sure.
I love you.
Yeah, I guess, sure, whatever you want me to be.
Yeah, sure.
This is the fourth anthology I have been in, and when the next one comes out in December, that'll be my fifth. I have done them all through a Facebook group called the New Romance Cafe. It is a group. Okay. It's a lovely little group for romance readers and writers. About the time that I joined in spring of 2019, they had just put out their first anthology, which was a collection of like short romance stories set in spring. And I guess they did one in summer. I don't remember it, but right after I had joined, they put out a call for autumn themed ones. Mm-hmm. I was like, okay, I can do that. And I got in.
And you just recently got the rights back for that one, right?
I got the rights back to that a while ago.
Okay.
I got those rights back sometime in 2020. And then I just sort of sat with it for a while because it was during the pandemic, at the early days of the pandemic. And I was just sort of like...
going through it?
I was like, okay, I was doing nothing at home because we didn't have school in session. So, I didn't really have much there. And I was just like, okay, whatever. I done my second one in February 2020. So like right before the pandemic happened. I have the rights back to both those stories now. So you can't find them right now. I'm trying to tinker with them a little bit, lengthen them, give a little more flesh to these bare bones stories.
Okay.
Hopefully get them a little bit better. The third one I did, the Friends to Lovers one, that is going away next week. So by the time this recording is live, it will probably be unpublished on Amazon.
Okay.
So sad for y'all.
Well, so what is the one that they're going to be able to buy?
Yes, that's what I was getting to. So the one that just released. I'm so sorry. I have ADHD. I have to.
I know, we all do. We're like squirrels running around in the backyard trying to.
This is the most interesting conversation.
I have to tell my stories in a linear fashion, and I know that this gets on like everyone else's nerves, including other people with ADHD. But they're also the only people that understand that I need to tell the story this way.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, so the one that just released a week ago on October 4th is in the anthology Under Your Spell, and it is a collection of fairy tale retellings, and there's some like paranormal romances in there, and
fairy tale retellings.
Yeah, fairy tale retellings. There's like a folktale one. I know someone wrote something loosely inspired by the Loki series on Disney Plus.
Oh.
But it's like a trickster god, sort of.
Okay.
And you wrote
I wrote a story called A Dream So Lovely that is a Sleeping Beauty. Basically, I saw the request for fairy tale retellings, thought about what I wanted to do because I have been writing a Snow White retelling for like a decade almost.
You have a 100,000 word Snow White retelling.
A 100,000 word Snow White retelling that is nowhere near done because it's just like the thing I tinker on whenever I am depressed, which is all the time.
Dude, writing as a coping mechanism is real.
Yeah.
I was like, oh god, dead silence. That was supposed to be a joke.
No, I was just having a moment like, yeah.
There's a reason why my writing amped up in the pandemic. I needed it.
The post-college graduate depression thing hit me real hard. I didn't have a car, I didn't have a job, and I had moved to a different apartment without my friends, and I was living with some real shitty roommates. So I just stayed in my room all day and I started writing. But anyway, I decided to not do the Snow White thing, and someone else was already doing a Snow White one. So I was like, okay, you know what? Let's do Sleeping Beauty.
Sleeping Booty is what I just heard. I'm sorry, guys. We can't get through conversations because we all have thoughts. But I heard Sleeping Booty.
Sleeping Booty. Not quite. Sleeping Beauty.
It's a really fun concept. I really think that you should tell them a bit about the concept.
Yes. So the first idea I had for a Sleeping Beauty retelling was it opens with her like already under the spell and she has been walking through other people's dreams. She's just a dream walker.
Yeah, I really loved like the way you built this kind of magic system with like how like really delved into what the lore could be in Sleeping Beauty.
Well, and then also that the curse like presented its own restrictions, yes, but also its own powers.
That took me a while to figure out what I wanted to do with that, because really my only idea was Dreamwalker. It took me a while to like figure out what I wanted to do with how the dream world worked, and in my drafts I made a lot of Inception jokes.
God, I love reading. Sorry, can we like aside? I love your drafts because
I do too.
I'm sorry, and this is gonna sound like I'm a little bit dunking on your drafts. I'm not. I promise. I legitimately love that you do this because it's something I wish that I would allow myself to do. Because you will like write, describe his hair or whatever.
Yes. It's
like,
very
it's
current and like current Rebecca telling future Rebecca, like, I don't know. You get your shit together for me. Like, it makes me so happy. The tone of it is so cute.
It's the advice people always tell people to do with their first draft of, hey, if you are stuck on something, move on. But then it's like, oh, this is how you act. This is how you're supposed to do it.
Yeah, I feel like some of that is left over from like my fan fiction days.
Okay.
Because that was sort of how with fanfic.
No, I 100% on fanfiction.net. That was 100% how people would just write.
Yeah,
really. People
would like argue with their characters on the page. They'd be like, "Shut up and get back to the smooching. No, you can't make me smooch, 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 smooch."
Like I never wrote like that directly in the text. You know, like how there would be some fanfics where it would be like just the story and then it would be like page break, AN, oh my god, can you believe it? Like
the author's notes.
Close parentheses, back to the story. And I'm like, is this how people really write? Like, do they argue with the characters as they're writing? Like, that's weird. But like for me, sometimes I would be like trying to write the fanfic or whatever.
I know, I can never hear or whatever without thinking of you.
Yes, be writing the fanfic, and then I would know that I needed to add more detail to it, but I wasn't sure what it needed to be yet, so I would just like highlight it and have some like placeholder text that was like, fix this later, write this better, or anything like that. Then when I started writing original stuff, specifically stuff that like when I was sharing it with y'all, part of me wanted to like try to make it funny so that like you would see it, but like I also know that it was like something I needed help with a little. Like I was like, I need to tweak this word, like what word choice can this be? But I would just put or whatever because like sometimes I would just be at a loss of what to say. And then that just sort of turned into like my joke. I had a really fun time writing A Dream So Lovely. That's what we were talking about originally.
Yeah,
we were, weren't we?
Before we got distracted with fanfic talk, I knew a few of the things that I had wanted to do with it. And like one of my other writer friends and a friend I have from college who writes, we had made a joke years ago about like one of my characters, one of her characters. They like, if we had written fanfic of our own work and like paired them together, what would it look like? So I sort of like took that idea a little bit and made that the dynamic between the lead characters in A Dream So Lovely. She thinks that it works. There's like a few lines throughout it that really speak to her character. It's still like markedly different from both of our characters to the point that you really can't tell unless it is like something I've told you. This is what it's supposed to be.
Of course, like you'd have the source material.
Yeah, but she has been writing that character of hers for longer than I've been writing my Snow White retelling.
It's kind of the way I see your Snow White retelling too, where it's like it's something that has become something very much connected to like a place and time, and it's very much connected to you in a way that it's harder to be non-biased about. And so like I've really enjoyed seeing you put together, and like I love your Snow White retelling. But I really enjoy seeing you put together your anthology pieces and seeing those stories come to volition, because I think that it's just kind of like you're able to see them with a different eye than you can your Snow White retelling, just because there's no way for it not to be so personal.
Yeah, there's like, I feel like there's like like sometimes when you write something and it is just so purely from your id that like the idea of editing it is painful, because it's like I don't think I could let someone see this and judge it in any kind of way.
Yeah. Well, I don't have anything that I've written that's comparable.
Oh no, I've shown it to Anna, and I think Anna's read a little bit of it. Because you made me read your,
Was it the mermaid one?
No, it was actually the thing that Handel and Claire was kind of pulled from. It was like a proto Handel with Claire.
Okay, I sort of remember that.
And, oh man, I think you sent me in response your fan fiction of, was it Big Time Rush?
No. It was...
No, was it Jonas Brothers?
Jonas Brothers.
That's hilarious.
It was Jonas Brothers fanfic.
I had no idea that happened.
That I wrote Jonas Brothers fanfic, or that she sent me the original Handel with Claire?
Oh, that you wrote Jonas Brothers fanfic. I didn't know.
Yes. No, I had a gigantic crush on Kevin Jonas.
Kevin, huh?
Let me judge you.
I don't even know.
Jonas
the only one I know is Nick. So, look, I'm literally just being an ass for the sake of being an ass.
That one, right?
He was the oldest one.
Oh, is he? Okay.
Okay.
If you put a picture of all three of them in front of me.
Yeah, I could not tell you which one is which.
I could tell you that they're Jonas Brothers because Nick's in the photo. But if you put a picture of just the other two brothers in front of me, I'd be like, I don't know, some guy with brown hair and brown eyes, I suppose. Like, I would not be able to identify them. I just never got into their music or, like, their fandom. It just wasn't something.
My sister had a gigantic crush on Nick when she was in, like, high school. Mm-hmm. And I sort of made fun of her for it. But then, I guess it was my senior year of high school. So we had a family friend who also was, like, sort of making fun of her for liking the Jonas Brothers. Family friend's best friend loved the Jonas Brothers, and on, like, Valentine's 2008, the Jonas Brothers were having a concert in Houston. So my sister and the friend went to the concert, and me and the family friend just went to a Mexican restaurant, and we're like, LOL, who would like the Jonas Brothers?
No. And meanwhile, you're writing fanfic?
No, not quite yet.
Not yet. It happened later.
What happened was, okay, so this is going to sound dumb, but whatever. What happened was they had, like, the premiere of Camp Rock that summer, the summer after I graduated high school, I guess. Mm-hmm. Also at that time, maybe that was in 2007. I don't really care right now. Then at some point, Camp Rock premiered. The family friend and her friend came over to our house to watch it because that's just the kind of house we were. Mm-hmm. And we were all hanging out. I was sort of making fun of it, but my best friend at the time loved Joe Jonas. So, like, she was watching it too, but, like, trying to be cool. And then we, like, I had gotten a laptop that summer to take with me to college, and we ended up trading, like, back and forth, like, self-insert real person fanfic of us, like, going on tour with the Jonas Brothers and, like, them falling in love with us. It was wonderful. Super silly, but, like, it was ridiculous. And then at some point in college, I was bored, and I decided to turn that into, like, actual fan fiction of Camp Rock.
Interesting.
I didn't take that exact story and turn it into fan fiction. I got on fanfiction.net, looked for Camp Rock fanfic, and then, like, found a couple with Kevin's character, even though Kevin's character in there only has, like, 5 lines. The thing about writing fan fiction, especially for, like, Disney Channel things, and I guess maybe, like, Nickelodeon shows too, but I don't really know because I never read or watched. I never watched any of those shows, really, and I never read any of that fanfic. The characters are so, like, one-dimensional. It is really easy to, like,
give them a whole personality.
Just make your own, like, headcanon, as it's called in fan fiction. So that's what I started doing. And I found a group of friends on fanfiction.net. Hello, Logan. We actually still follow each other on Twitter to this day. And my friend Haley, who, when I posted the Under Your Spell link, like, retweeted it and called me a legend. So, you know.
Aw, that's so sweet.
Yes, I still love both of them. They're the only ones that I, like, really, really keep in touch with, and it's not even, like, that we keep, like, deeply in touch. We just like each other's tweets and, like, will respond to them. But for real, they were some of my first, like, writing friends that I ever really had. I still remember them very fondly back in the day. Logan and I specifically had beta read for each other, like, go back and forth talking about characterization. Does this sound like how we envisioned this character? Stuff like that. We were sort of like the reigning queens of our respective pairings in the Camp Rock fanfiction world. You know, so fanfiction really helped me, I guess. How did we get on this subject?
Oh, I don't even know anymore.
But yeah, so it's all good. But yeah, so Jonas Brother fan fiction stuff, Camp Rock.
You were at one point telling us about your anthology piece. Did you say all the things you wanted to say about it?
I really loved it. I had a fun time writing it. I'm really glad I got the chance to do this. December 1st, when my story in the Winter Contemporary Holiday.
Ooh, yeah, yeah.
Contemporary Winter Holiday. That's how we're going to phrase it. Contemporary Winter Holiday Anthology comes out. That'll be December 1st. My story in there is called Auld Lang Syes. It is a New Year's story. I cannot remember off the top of my head how many other anthologists are in it, but I know for sure there are going to be quite a few Christmas ones, at least one Hanukkah one, maybe two that I can remember. I'm pretty sure I saw someone saying they're going to do a Yule one.
Interesting.
Yeah, so we'll have a few there to choose from. That should be fun. And then carrying into 2023, hopefully I will have a collection of my contemporary stories getting put together up for sale so that people can read them once again and see all of the new things that I have put in there. And then probably at some point I will lengthen not Snow White, the Sleeping Beauty one. There's a few little tweaks I want to make, lengthening it out just a little bit so that I can put it up on Amazon again under my own name. And we shall see how that goes.
So you've done a lot of anthologies. You've done a lot more than I have at this point.
Yeah.
I've only tried it the once, and that went spectacularly.
Yeah.
Terribly.
So sorry about that.
No, you know. Yeah, I'm looking back, I'm glad I didn't end up having to go through with them.
Yeah.
Just because, like, small publisher, I just keep seeing left and right that there's so many sketchy small publishers out there. So
yeah,
is there advice you would have for, like, people who want to get their work into anthologies as a way to start getting published?
I would probably say, like, I don't know, I looked into finding the New Romance Cafe.
Okay.
I'd been reading romance novels for a while, pretty heavily and almost exclusively romance novels since, like, Hurricane Harvey in 2017. So, like, for, like, 2 years, if it was spring, I ended up just wanting to, like, connect with other, like, romance reader people. And I ended up finding that group when I searched on Facebook. I also found the Heaving Bosoms, the Facebook group. I had been listening to the podcast for a little while at that point.
Well, so that's kind of how we ended up meeting.
Yeah. The New Romance Cafe doesn't purport to be, like, a publishing house. It's just, like, a group. There's, like, a group of, like, 4 or 5 friends, I guess, who decided they wanted to publish an anthology together, and then asked some of their group members that were also writers, because they knew they had a few of them, would you like to contribute to this anthology?
Okay, so is there, like, a screening process? Do you submit something and then it gets rejected or accepted?
Not really. It might get to that point at some moment in the future, but right now, basically, it's just they put out a call for a anthology collection, usually around some sort of theme.
Okay.
Their first few had been seasons, and it was always contemporary. And then at some point, they decided to do at one point, they decided to do winter contemporary and winter historical.
Interesting.
And then, like, branched out from there after, like, doing, like, concurrent seasonal contemporary and historicals. They started doing more, like, loose themes. So that's where we did, like, Friends to Lovers. There was, I don't know what else they've done. There's, like, I know they're about to put out, like, a mafia themed one. like there might be a Rockstar one coming out, and then they did the fairy tale paranormal romance one. I know they've done a paranormal romance one earlier. All of the ones I have been involved in thus far have been for charity, but there's a couple of them that coming up that I'm going to be in that are for profit. So that's nice that I'll be getting paid.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's really that was the biggest draw. It was the first couple they had put together were like free to submit or like very nominal. Like it might have been like $20, which could be a lot for some people, but like it didn't seem like a lot to me to like get my name like on something that would be published, right? Like I was like, oh, I get to feel like a real writer.
You are a real writer, whether you're published or not. It's just...
I know. But it's like one of those things.
I know. It's one of those things that it does make you feel better about yourself to finally have something out there.
How their process works is they put out the call for the anthology and you say if you're interested or not. And then they will be like, yeah, sure, send it on in. They sort of have like a separate group for that where they say like, okay, tell us about your story. Like, what are your characters' names? What's the plot? Any major tropes you're using so that we know if any of the stories are going to be like too similar and we can maybe like change a couple of things. And then, they just ask us to keep them updated on how we're doing. And then, you can pay for your own editor and send it in. And they generally accept everything that they get submitted, unless, like, for some reason it is very clearly unedited or, like, super plagiarized.
Or probably just, like, against the theme or kind of goes out of the tone of what they're looking for.
Yeah. But, I really cannot recall anyone
getting booted.
Yeah, people that end up not getting the whole way through the process ended up dropping for like outside reasons. I had to drop one 2021 after my cousin died. Because I just was not in a good place mentally to try to keep writing.
Yeah.
But
I remember that.
But apart from that, it's always been I've always really loved the New Romance Cafe for that, and they're all so supportive. Like Jenny and Andy and Anna are all really great. It costs like a little bit more now to put in the pot because we all of the contributors to the anthology, we all put money in the pot to pay for the cover art and some form, like the formatting, a few of the other things like that. So like I know people are like, if they ask you to pay for something, it's a scam.
Well, so I think that's definitely like if a publisher asks you to pay for something, it's a scam. This is a group of authors who are kind of banding together to make the self-publishing cost less.
It will say like New Romance Cafe Publishing on it, but that's basically just like the banner. Mm-hmm. They're not purporting to be like an independent publisher of romance novels or anything. Mm-hmm. They chiefly deal in anthologies, and I don't know, it's just a fun little group. I like them. That's how I met my editor that is working on my Snow White story, because I really wanted to make her work, apparently.
This is like a similar, because I have an anthology coming out in 2023, and the quote-unquote publisher sounds similar to what you are working with as well. So, there are different avenues available for finding anthologies, and it's not just it's also sharing each other's platform, right? And like that's a big draw of it as well. So making sure that you are aligning with the other stories in in their theme.
Yes. And that's what I really like about this group. And, you know, we got it together that there's a few of us who agreed to do like author interviews for a book reviewer.
Mm-hmm.
So mine came out a few weeks ago, but I think she just republished it last week to coincide with the release of A New Year's Spell. And then we also, the money that we put in the pot also went to, what is it? Marketing promo.
Mm-hmm.
That we, some sort of like promo group who would do a few like ads and things so that we didn't have to do nearly as much like self promo.
Mm-hmm.
We still have to do a lot. You know, I should probably post another link tonight before I go to bed. But you know, it's just, it's really nice to know that I don't have to like worry about everything myself.
Yeah, that you're not carrying all of the weight.
But it's also nice to feel like I am contributing to something as well, because like, you know, we all just are sort of there, like help each other. Our Facebook Messenger chat can get real silly sometimes. It was like ostensibly like when we were first starting the group before everything was published, it was a lot of, you know, like answering questions and things, like it was like strictly business. Now that the anthology is out, and like even like the weeks leading up to it, because we had to check the proof, and that was when I realized I had like cut off in the middle of a sentence of dialogue, and I was like, holy shit, I am the worst author ever.
No,
how did I not catch this?
No, but like, I mean, how did you not catch it? Like, you didn't catch it because there's all the other words, you know, like you just didn't catch it. It's okay. You caught it before it published. That's what's important.
Exactly. That's what all the other authors said. They were like, babe, you caught it before it was published. You're fine.
Yeah.
Just fix it right now. You're good. And I was like, okay, you're right. Someone else had apparently skipped an entire scene.
Oh, shoot.
So,
wow.
Yeah, hers just didn't end up, it just ended up like formatting weird, I think. But like there was something major was missing, and it was like a bigger deal than like mine was, where I just needed to like sit down for like an hour, less than even, to like finish that thought and then figure out where I was going to like switch point of view, because it had like gone to another character's like headspace in between. I was like, that's not, you're not supposed to head hop. And I was like, I know that Nora Roberts does it all the time, but like when Nora Roberts does it, it doesn't feel really jarring. You're just like, oh, this is what's happening.
It's just part of her voice. Yeah.
It feels a lot more like omniscient when she does it, and I think that's something that like I don't really see many other people like really do it.
I mean, I haven't read Nora in so long, but like I kind of want to like just study like the moments that she does that. Like, how is it that this works here? Like, there's got to be some way to like break it down to understand like the actual mechanics of what she's doing.
Yeah.
That's really impressive, especially readers. We tend to be very particular about what we like and don't like, and being able to figure out exactly how are words. We tend to know exactly what we like and don't like, and then we also get very critical of things when we see them. And like head hopping is like such a thing that it tends to be jarring. So like, why isn't it jarring when she does it? Need to read her again.
I mean, I think it's weird how there's some things that are accepted and like, yeah, this is okay to do, and some things that are like, this isn't okay to do. But like, clearly if you can do it right, it works. And so it's just kind of like a matter of, I don't know, I think kind of norms and just trending reader preferences do shift quite a bit.
Well, and then also like, I think there's a confidence to her writing that like,
she's written like 1,000 books.
Well, yeah, but like even like the stuff, you know, from like when I used to read her back in, you know, it would have been like her stuff from the late 90s and like stuff like that. And it gathered at that point, she still had, over a decade's worth of work. But like, man, she just does everything with such boldness. Like there's just no checking to see if you're okay with this. It's very much like, onward we go. Get on board. Like it's just, it's very cool. Okay, so you've talked about how you found the anthologies. You talked about how the anthologies are put together. And you talked about how like marketing and release is like kind of on everybody's shoulders.
Yes.
Have you talked, and you have worked with this publisher a couple times. Have you worked with any other publishers?
No.
Okay.
Their New Romance Cafe is just really easy.
Mm-hmm. Well, you've already had a positive experience with them. You've had a couple positive experiences with them.
And they are the compilers of it are so nice. They're just like, they're really chill. Like at one point, Anna had gone to read one of the first stories I'd ever submitted. She wanted to like give me feedback, but taking a walk or something. So she ended up like calling me on Facebook, on the Messenger app, and like talking to me for like half an hour. And she's taking this, what I can only assume is like a charming little walk around whatever European city she lives in. and like telling me what she loved about my story and what she thought needed to be like tweaked just a little bit. And I was just like, this is so wonderful. Like I've never felt like I've gotten like this kind of feedback before.
Oh, that's lovely. Yeah.
And I was like, oh, she called me from Europe, because I was like, oh, that's so cool. They have always been really great. They're really chill and really like supportive. And I haven't had a bad experience with them.
That's brilliant.
Yeah, I'm so excited to be working with them to have worked with them on Under Your Spell, and the next one, the winter one, Mind This Winter, is the anthology title. I'm so excited to be working with them on those. I'm not going to be in any of the upcoming 2023 ones, as far as I know yet. I know they have up to like I think it's a June 2023 release. It's like summer vacation type stories. I know that one is going to be out next summer, but I don't know anything further than that. So if there is something coming out in those next few months to finish out 2023, maybe I'll be in one.
You had a lot of deadlines like back to back for a little bit there.
Yeah, I did have a lot of deadlines back to back this spring. So I probably will not do that again, because I think that combined with like working in education just gave me more gray hair. So I probably won't do, like, if I do another one, it probably won't be just more than one. My like actual plans for 2023 are get all of the stories back to myself, all of the rights back to myself, give them all to an editor, and see what we can make happen with those so that I can release them as their own collection.
I love that.
Independent stories, even if they are long enough for that. One of the stories is like just over 10,000, and another is like right at about 7,000, which is both of those are like a little too short, I feel, to put just up on their own on Amazon.
I mean, I have my short story from the anthology I got the rights back in September, and it's like 12,000 words, just over, and I'm publishing that. And then also I'm planning on in December the Christmas story I wrote for Liz Alden. I'm planning on cleaning that thing up and publishing that as well, and that's only like 4,500 words. And I don't know how much more I'll lengthen. I will probably leave it just where it's at. So I think it's kind of, and like there are lots of people like that have created really sustainable careers putting out short pieces. And they put out a lot of short pieces, obviously, and they really understand what their readers are looking for and gives the readers that over and over. But, you know, if someone reads it and they're like, oh, I like this voice, I like the way these characters are handled, they might pick up something else. So I kind of see it more as marketing going out than as its own standalone position, even though they are standalones. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, I get that. I could probably make that work.
Yeah, it's up to you if you want to like lengthen them. It's just a thought.
No, it's a good thought. The first 2 stories are just a couple years old, so I know that I can like tweak them just a little bit to make myself feel better. So we'll see. But, you know, I will definitely be lengthening the Friends to Lovers one, because
I like your ideas for lengthening that one too.
Thank you, because Jesse and Liv deserve a longer story.
Yeah, I have a New Year's Eve antho coming out, and it's just it's a completely random like situation where I'm just in this this group, Word Makers. And it's just a social, it's on Mighty Networks, and it's just like a social like space where you can like business oriented of writing, right? And so there's a lot of like of sharing information and you know, kind of educating together sort of thing. It's really great. They were like, well, let's try an anthology. We did the monster anthology or like coordinated releases. And so we're putting that together. It's really interesting how these things can like come together out of like kind of like there was mist and now there's a book. You know, there was nothing and now here book. Yeah. You know? Like we're all creatives and we all tend to be pretty flexible sort of thing. Also, like I really appreciate Joe West is the one that's like he's like headwaying like coordinating all of us and getting all of our stories put together and formatted and doing the cover, and it's like, oh my goodness, what a gem. Thank you so much. Like that's so much work. So, you know, just having someone willing to take on a task like that is pretty impressive to me. Anthology coordinating does not look easy. Like from the outside looking in, it does not look like an easy task.
I'm doing like a giveaway with like 10 other authors on Instagram. Like we made a little group chat and we're like, we're gonna give away a bundle of all our books.
Love it.
And that alone is like the like we're struggling through the way to just coordinate this.
Well, yeah, poor Joe would ask us like, because it's a charity anthology, so you know all proceeds are going to charity, and he's like, who do we give the charity to, right? And like we're, oh, you know, there's so many different causes. Right? And so I was just like, you know,
no one wants to like put the definitive answer down. Everyone's like, oh, whatever you want.
So he did a great job asking a couple times and like hearing the couple different charities and then being like, okay, here is a poll. This is the official poll. You get 1 vote. Go. Right? And so he's just done a really good job of like seeding out thoughts and then being like, okay, now choice, you know? Because yeah, I mean, like you said, like no one wants to be the one that's like, I say this, you know? There are so many causes in the world, but I want everyone to pick mine, you know? So
yeah, there
are so many causes, and there's just so much to care about. So but yeah, so I'm excited about that antho coming out. I am so in love with my story that's in it.
That's the New Year's one, right?
Yes, that is Louisa and Sean. It is essentially like an epilogue to the Love and Embezzlement series. But I don't think there's like, I think I've done a good job of like not having spoilers. Yeah, I love them. Their chemistry is awesome. And then I am writing a spicy scene for people to like sign up for my newsletter to get that scene. And yeah, these two are intense, man. They've got some great chemistry. So I cannot wait, because I have part of that spicy scene written and I thought I would share it with you guys tonight when we were done with our chat. And I like cannot wait to read it for you guys. So
okay, well then we should wrap this up.
We've got spicy scenes to read, so.
You want to close us out?
Yeah. Rebecca, tell the people where they can find you. And we'll make sure and have links to your anthologies.
Yes. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at by Rebecca Conrad. I also have a Facebook page, but I have not been on there in months. So probably don't use that to try to like get a hold of me. My Instagram is probably full of food pics, but yeah, pretty active on Twitter, even if that is mostly just liking and retweeting. And sometimes I talk about writing. Anyway, buy Under Your Spell. It is available on Amazon. It is on Kindle Unlimited. You can buy a copy you can buy a Kindle copy for $2.99, and we apparently have paperback copies available. I think it's for like $29, which sounds like a lot for a paperback, but the thing is like 1,000 pages.
Yeah.
Because there's 20 authors in there. So you'll get your money's worth of stories. I promise. That's it for me.
Well, you can find Kate at by Kate Pryor on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter. You can sign up for her newsletter on Twitter as well. There's like a little button. And you can find me at Marty the Author on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. And you can sign up for my newsletter at my website at martyv.com. That's MARTYVEE, because I decided that, I mean, why have a full name when you can just be V, like a bumblebee? So but that's us. Anyway, you guys are awesome. And Rebecca, you're the best for being here. I love you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Bye, listener. Bye.